Hey everyone, I'm Vitor.
And I'm Alex. Welcome back to Yo's Corner and Happy New Year.
We want to wish everyone a happy holiday season.
Today we'll be talking about survey questions and some common pitfalls to avoid. Recently, I was working on getting some feedback from users through a survey, but I admit I'm not the best survey writer, so I went to you for some help.
At first glance, you did a really good job. There's just a couple of words that we needed to rephrase and tweak to make sure that we weren't influencing the participants' answers. But writing survey questions can be tough. There's entire positions at companies dedicated to just this. So today what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at a couple common question types and a couple common pitfalls to avoid when you write your own survey questions. Let's dive right in.
First, let's talk about leading questions. A leading question is one where we include words that may bias the participant's answers, either positively or negatively. This may consciously or subconsciously lead the participant towards a certain answer, maybe one that confirms what you're studying. Check out our video on confirmation bias to learn more about how our minds play tricks on us and influence our everyday decisions. The problem with this is that now our data is tainted and invalid. Our word choice influenced the survey responses to look a certain way and bias our results.
All right, let's look at the following scenario. You just finished watching a space documentary on Netflix, and they send you a one-question follow-up survey, and it reads, how much did you enjoy the documentary? Insert space doc name.
Can you guys spot what's wrong here? The word choice in the question has a positive tone to it. It implies that you enjoyed the documentary. This may lead you to answering more favorably.
So how do we fix it? Some options would be to replace it with a Likert scale type question. For example, on a scale of 1, very unsatisfied, to 5, very satisfied, please rate the recently watched documentary. Or you could ask the participant, how did you feel about the recently watched documentary? It may seem a bit robotic at first, especially since you're probably excited about your product or your design, and you worked really hard on it. But that's exactly what we want. All right, now let's look at loaded questions. A loaded question is a question that has an underlying assumption to it, one that your participant may or may not agree with. They also pressure the individual to answer the question in a specific way. Let's use Netflix as an example again. I'm sure they won't mind us picking on them.
This time, you and your friend have just finished watching a new true crime show about a questionable case. If you've ever watched this genre, you know how subjective the legal system can be. A few days later, you see a question posted about the show on social media, and it reads, do you think that they should have convicted the criminal? At first, this may seem innocuously written, but can you spot what's wrong here? The question presumes that the individual on trial is a criminal. This may influence participants to think about the individual in a negative light because of the word choice. And even if you answer no, meaning that you believe that they're innocent, your answer unintentionally suggests that you believe that they're a criminal, just one that shouldn't have been convicted for this specific crime.
So how can you reword loaded questions to make sure that you're not influencing your participants' answers? First, ask yourself, what assumptions are we making here?
In this case, the question assumes that the individual on trial is a criminal and asks if they should be convicted for that specific crime. But we could break it up, explore further, and validate those points.
Okay, some questions that we can think through. Does the individual have a criminal past? Is that criminal past related to this case in any way? Does a criminal past necessarily mean that they will commit another crime? Does a criminal past necessarily mean that they committed this crime? Also, we can reword the question. We can say something like, do you think the individual should have been convicted of the crime he was charged for? Why or why not? This is the magic of thinking logically. It helps us cut through assumptions and look at things objectively.
Well, everyone, that's it for today. As you can see, writing survey questions can be a little more difficult than it might seem.
There's definitely a method to the madness. But remember, the key thing is to remain as objective as possible. Ask yourself this, are there any underlying assumptions to the questions that I'm asking? Am I influencing the participant or leading them towards an answer in any particular way?
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little bell to be notified every time we post new content. Now go out there and solve some people puzzles.